Learn how to check if an object allows new properties to be added. In this example, we want to look at how to check if an object is still extensible after preventing the object from being extensible. So basically, we are going to make use of two methods here. The first one is going to prevent extension, and the second one is going to check if the object is still extensible. In the script part, I have added some comments on the steps that we need to take to be able to generate the example. Now, I have about 5 steps that we need to follow here. The first one says create object person. So I'll go ahead and make a person object. And I'm going to give it just two properties, first name and last name. So this is my object. Now, the second step says block extension using objects.prevent extension. This is a very simple thing to do. We'll just call the method. It's a built-in method. So you're not stressing about building it out. And then you pass in your object into it. Then the step 3 says check extensibility with object dot is extensible. So how am I going to do that? Well, let me check if what I have is extensible. Check if what we have is extensible. And how are we going to do that? Well, it's just very simple. Object dot is extensible. Now, you will notice that we are making use of two methods. Number one is prevent extension. This is what is locking the object, and this is what is checking if the object is really locked or open. Then store results. So let's store this in a results in an answer variable. And now let's display results. Display results. Document get element by IT. HTML equals to. So how are we going to check if this object is extensible? Well, think about it for a second. Should we go through the route of pressing dots, or how do you think we are going to be able to access to know if this is extensible or not? Well, it's very simple. As you can see, we already have a variable housing this method. So you just call the variable and then you get a response. You can see it's false. If I take this one out or comment it out, now let's see, you can see it's true. So this is what is preventing the objects from being extensible. So if this is available, then the answer is going to be false. But if it is not available, the answer is going to be true, because nothing will be preventing your object from being extensible. So what we basically did is that if we check if the person object, which is this, is still extensible after blocking extension, and we'll see that the answer is false, which means that it is not extensible. Now, extensible simply means that you can add new property, and once you get false, it means that the object is locked and you can no longer add new property. And this method returns a Boolean response. And a Boolean is simply just yes or no, true or false. And that is why this false equates to no. And if it is true, it equates to yes. So the key things here are just that we can check the object status. This way, we've been able to check that this particular object is not extensible. That means we cannot add new properties. So this method is extensible, allow us to check the status of that object, and it also helps us to confirm if an object is locked and cannot add or receive new property. And it also shows us that this extensible method returns Boolean response, either true or false. So this method helps you verify object protection status in your code. I'm talking about the is extensible, and it's also useful for checking whether an object is still open for modification or locked down. So running through the code, you can see what we did here. So we just have an object here. We had an object here created. Then we disable the object with an extension. So we disable it with this method. And then the JavaScript now check the status with another method, and then it display the result and returns false on the screen. So this is how you can figure out if your object is still extensible or not in JavaScript.